This week we're back at the Mary Washington Lodge inside the Connecticut room, and we'll tell you all about the progress that's been made on this property over the past 16 months. Today I'm in front of the Mary Washington Lodge at 1500 Washington Avenue with Ann Darren, who is the Executive Director of Washington Heritage Museums, which took ownership of this property, which includes the monument, back in January of 2023. And in the last 14 months or so, Washington Heritage Museums has done quite a bit to transform the property. And so we were here about a year ago, and Anne, we came back for you to show us what's been done. So first of all, thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So yes, our volunteer crews have just done an amazing job of transforming these grounds. And we've just had an amazing group of volunteers that are so dedicated to this site. It's amazing the difference it's made opening this site up.
Kudos to you and your organization for all that. You just recently had a wreath laying, is that right?
We did.
Tell us about that over by the monument.
We did, yes. On May the 5th, it was the 130th anniversary of the original dedication of the monument. So Mayor Carrie Devine came out. We had Boy Scouts assist us with a flag ceremony. We had the Lafayette Singers here. Laura Galkey came and spoke, and really just a wonderful event. Despite the poor weather, we still had a nice crowd come out.
I'm glad to hear it, and I know there's much more to come here on this beautiful property. So, and you've also done quite a bit on the inside. So why don't we now go check out the inside?
That sounds great.
Okay, let's do it. So now we're inside the Mary Washington Lodge, and Anne, you've done some really nice work in here to make it even nicer. So describe some of the work that you've done.
Yeah, so outside I mentioned that we had a bunch of wonderful volunteers, and inside is very much the same thing. While we did have professionals come to paint the trim in here, because that requires a lot of attention to detail, and some of the trim was in rough shape, but the walls and the ceilings were painted by our own volunteers and also volunteers from Simventions who came out on their day of giving. So we are so thankful that they were able to help us with that in-kind gift. We did put in new wood floors on this level. Unfortunately, the original hardwood floors, when we pulled up the carpet, there was very little left of them. At least 9/10 of it had been replaced by plywood. So what we did do is save a little section at the bottom of the steps on the landing so that people can still see the original flooring. We do try and keep all our museums available to the University of Mary Washington for their historic preservation program. And this is an unusual example. Most of what they look at is 18th century, so this gives them an opportunity to look at something from the turn of the century.
Well, it really looks great in here. And long term, talk about what your organization's plans are for the space.
Sure. So this space that we are in right now, we're very excited. We will keep this very much like you're looking at it today, but we're very excited to have this big open space, which is something we don't have at our other museums.
And then on the second floor, is that where your offices will be someday?
Yes. So we're very excited at the thought of moving our offices here. It gives us a little bit more space than we have at St. James. And we're definitely looking forward to that as the organization grows. And we were very fortunate on May 5th. We did have an exhibit set up in the Connecticut room. When we are over here, that room will become a museum. It's just not quite there yet.
Yeah, well, you all have made great progress in the 16 months or so that you've owned it, and we look forward to more progress to come.
Oh, well, thank you. We're looking forward to it, and we're so grateful to everything that you did to help facilitate the transfer. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I was glad to be part of it. And of course, you're taking donations still. I'll give you one.
Absolutely, yes. So we are still fundraising for this, but we're very much looking forward to receiving donations for our capital campaign.
Okay. All right. Well, Anne, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
And that'll do it for this week's edition. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next week.